Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Suhaili binti Abdullah, number metric 1813766. My research topic is tourist motivation towards revisit intention on gastronomic tourism in Kelantan. So as for introduction, food tourism or gastronomic tourism is viewed as a sensory and cultural experience for tourists that are motivated by interest of food as well as an element of a destination's offer and the authenticity of a place. Gastronomic tourism are increasingly recognized as potentially determinant elements for sustainable development of places. This is because gastronomic tourism can contribute to economic, social, and environmental sustainability of places. Several issues regarding food management and production that could lead to dissatisfaction among tourists who visit that place. The several issues are ranging from the authenticity of experiences, the sustainability, the food quality and safety, the environment, and the tangible and intangible services, and many more. Thus, in this study, it will discuss more and explain more on the food tourism element and the destination and food image that influence tourist motivation to visit the tourism destination at Kelantan. The Sustainable Development Goals related to this study is goal number 3, which is good health and well-being. This is to make sure that through the gastronomic tourism, it will benefit the customers in terms of the preparation of the food, the nutrition of the food, the quality of the food, and to make sure customers are satisfied upon their dining in the restaurants or any stalls in Kelantan. So, for the research problem, according to Guzel 2017, gastro-tourists are mostly travel in couples. They spend more time experiencing in different cultures related to the food. There are some issues regarding motivation for travel for gastronomic tourism among tourists, and it has two reactions toward unfamiliarity, which is neophobia and neophilia. Neophobia means that the disgust of the unknown, and neophilia means the interest to try new and unknown food. This will result in contradiction that people wish to experience the new dishes but also trying to avoid unpleasant tastes, according to Intan, Wong, and Liu 2018. The main importance of tourist intention to revisit will also related to their future behavior, as they will engage in a positive word of mouth by making recommendations to their friends or relatives. However, customer satisfaction is a fundamental precursor of post-purchases of behavioral intention, because it improves the insight of customers toward the product and services. Customers are likely to revisit again if the restaurants give them a positive impression. However, according to Yuxel 2003, bad service quality, poor hospitality, and environment could lead to dissatisfaction while dining in a restaurant. Regarding the travel restrictions and MCO, nowadays people are aware to go traveling due to the increasingly daily cases, and this influence tourist motivation to travel for any tourism activity in Malaysia. Hence, this study aims to investigate tourist revisit intention and tourist motivation to gastronomic tourism in Kelantan. Moving on to the research question and research objective. Number 1 is what are the tourist motivation in gastronomic tourism, and the research objective is to identify tourist motivation in gastronomic tourism in Kelantan. The second one is what are the tourist revisit intention in gastronomic tourism in Kelantan. So the research objective is to investigate tourist revisit intention on gastronomic tourism in Kelantan. Next is the research framework. So for my study, I have one independent variable and one dependent variable. My independent variable is tourist motivation. Tourist motivation can be defined as the global integrating network of biological and cultural forces which give value and direction to travel choices, behavior, and experiences, from Pierce, Morrison, and Routledge, 1988. And for my dependent variable, which is revisit intention, revisit intention can be defined as the degree to which a person has formulated conscious plans to perform or not perform some specific future behavior. From Kang Lee, 2017. For population and sample size, in the study, my target respondents are among Eduhak Pago students which are from IIUM, UTHM, UTM, and Polytechnic. So the total population of students in Eduhak Pago are 20,000. From this is the sources that I got from Eduhak Pago website. The sample size based on Kerji and Morgan table is 377, but in this study I able to get 30 respondents which are from different universities. So for the sampling technique, in this study I use two sampling technique, which is quantitative and qualitative, to measure both of my variables. So for the quantitative is to measure the tourist motivation in gastronomic tourism, which will be distributed through questionnaire, and for qualitative to identify tourist revisit intention, tourist satisfaction and experience toward gastronomic tourism in Kelantan. So for the sampling technique, which is I use non-probability sampling, which is the probability of selecting any particular member is unknown. And for non-probability sampling, it has purposive sampling. Purposive sampling meaning that the researcher choose the sample based on who they think would be appropriate for the study. So for my study, I choose the among Eduhak Pago students, which is I think it is the most suitable because they are a younger generation. Younger generation are likely travel because the age demographic is from 20 to 30, which is they have more free time, and they didn't have any responsibility, and they can travel freely. So the questionnaire are being distributed to WhatsApp group using Google Form. Moving on to the research instrument. This is my table of research instrument in this study. So for section 1 is social demographic profile, which is I adapted from Lee, Othman and Johari. There are 10 questions in this section. The section B, which is tourist motivation, I adapted from Banos 2009. It has 11 questions. And then for section C, which is revisit intention, it is adapted from the assessment, the models, market and orientation 2018. It has 7 questions in it. So the total questions are 28. So moving on to pre-test, pilot test and reliability test. So for the pre-test, the content of validity has been tested and checked in dual languages, which is English and Malay. Pre-tests have been done in 3 days before the pilot test. The questionnaire are developed from various studies and being validated by the lecturer in the Department of Tourism IIUM. So for pilot study, it was a necessary trial that aided the researcher and respondents to minimize any unnecessary efforts during the data collection, mainly ensure they can understand and able to answer the survey appropriately by in 2017. So for the questionnaire has been distributed to 30 random respondents in IIUM, UTHM, UTM and Polytechnic through WhatsApp group. So this is my Pearson correlation value and Cromba alpha value. So the Cromba alpha value is 0.05 and the significant value as stated in the table above is 0.0, which is the significant value is less than the alpha value, the Cromba alpha value. So there is significant relationship between both of my variables. And the right table is the Cromba alpha value for section B, which is I got 0.888, and then section C 0.913. moving on to the statistical analysis for section A, which is demographic profile. Among 30 of respondents, there are 26 among them are female and the remaining is male. And then most of them are in IUM, and then the second one is from UTHM, Polytechnic, and the least is UTM. And then most of the respondents have been to Kelantan before, and then 4 among them are never been to Kelantan, but they also contribute in answering the questionnaire. And then the respondents also answering the question that the motivation they to go to Kelantan is for personal trip and others, and then the third one is VFR and for studying, and also the least one is for business trip. Next is the tourist motivation. Here is my table of questionnaire from section B. For food hygiene, most of the respondents agree that the restaurant in Kelantan are hygiene and clean. And then for location, most of them are strongly agree that the location is accessible to go by any kind of transport. And then they also agree that the menu in the restaurant are healthy, nutritious, and safe. The last one is they strongly agree that their motivation to go there is to explore the local cuisine at Kelantan. Now we move to the revisit intention, which is on section C. Okay, based on the table above, you can see that most of the respondents strongly agree that the gastronomic tourism are the one of their motivation to go there, and they are satisfied with the services and product at there, and also they have a strong intention to revisit that place again in the future. And also they will share and spread on this tourism activity at Kelantan to their friends or relatives or family and so on. And also last one, they strongly agree that that they can influence other people to go to Kelantan for participating in gastronomic activity. Now we are already in the last slide, which is the conclusion. So in short, this study proved that most of respondents have been to Kelantan and they have a good experience in gastronomic tour activity. However, there are also few issues regarding the inaccessible of location, and also they are having hard situation to contact the local people at Kelantan. But in overall, most of the respondents are satisfied and they have a strong intention to revisit that place again in the future. The limitation of study are lack of input and resources regarding the topic, and limited time for doing data collection, as some of the students are not cooperating enough to answering the questionnaire. But for future research, it should focus more on how to develop local markets contribution in economic activity at Kelantan, which will be improving their development of economy at that place, and also to reduce the poverty in the area. So that's all my presentation today. Thank you for watching, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.